Good morning and welcome into the Boardroom Podcast. It may not be morning when you're listening to it, but it's morning right now when we're recording it. So
Yeah, you got your coffee,
we got
man?
the coffee. Man, I'll tell you what, I need it. It's been a busy couple weeks in my house. I don't know about yours, but it's been busy.
We went on spring break, and then I think tell me about your Academy Award-winning show last night, man.
Man, I tell you what, my daughter's in the Annie Junior production at Oak Grove Central. Mrs. Cox and all the folks out there do a great job getting our kids ready for the big stage. And so my daughter did a great job. All the kids that were involved with it did a great job.
Was that at the HPAC building?
It was not. It was at a Cornerstone Church in South Haven. There was some pipes that were damaged during that winter storm at the HPAC that caused some little minor flooding issues, and so they kind of came up with a plan B.
There you go.
Just in case the repairs couldn't be done in time. I don't know where that stands, but yeah, it was good. It was good. Really good show. And I did some of that stuff back when I was in high school, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Did some
My neighbor Harper, she was I think she was in the same. Are they in the same production? It's just one production.
There's two casts. So
gotcha.
there's a red cast and a blue cast, and the red cast was last night, and the blue cast is Friday evening, and then they split up on Saturday and do another one.
Okay.
So
well, good.
it's been good. It's
Well,
been
if
good.
you
Lots of
if
fun.
you hear this show in time, go check them out at the Cornerstone Church.
Cornerstone Church, Friday evening, and then there's an 11 o'clock and a 2 o'clock show on Saturday. So if you get it, if you get out there, and it's donation only, there's no tickets. They just recommend a $5 donation.
Right.
But you can certainly go and take in a little show and enjoy it. The kids are really good. There's a lot of really talented kids in Hernando.
That's right.
Y'all know that. So it's 4th and 5th graders, and they do a good job.
Yeah. What else is going on, Joe? What y'all do for spring break?
We went to Texas and enjoyed the Perot Museum, which I didn't know.
Okay.
Ross Perot.
I got you.
I don't know if you remember him.
Did y'all go to Dallas? Is that where you went?
Went to Dallas.
You got to do the Bush Museum, man.
I know we couldn't get to everything. We only had a little bit of
I
time.
think it's at SMU, I believe, is where his museum is.
I believe that's right.
And
But the Perot Museum is pretty cool. It's they've kind of got like a little children's museum, and then they had a T-Rex exhibit. They had a lot of science related stuff, and kids had a good time at that. And then we went to Six Flags over Texas.
yeah,
And,
they enjoyed that, didn't they?
Yeah, we rode the I guess it's the tallest roller coaster in Texas. And,
Okay.
rode all the rides, and played some little carnival games and all the stuff. So they had a big day doing that.
That Dallas Fort Worth area, that's a nice area, big area. I know I had some business ties there a couple years ago, but I know at one time the Dallas Fort Worth metro area had about 6 million people in it. So
Yeah,
that'd
that's
be
about
about
right.
twice the size of the state of
The state
Mississippi,
of Mississippi, yeah.
and just in that one area there of the state. So.
And we did the most important thing on any road trip in the South. We went to Buc-ee's.
How'd you do with Buc-ee's?
Went to Buc-ee's. Most expensive trip I've ever had to a gas station in my entire life. The kids wanted like bathing suits, stuffed animals, beef jerky, brisket sandwiches,
So
burritos.
you went all out.
It was all out. It was all out. Now I will say, so I got, I didn't eat 3 sandwiches by myself, but I got 3 because I wanted to try them all. I wanted to try them all because I was like, I'm here. I'm not going to be back at a Buc-ee's anytime soon. So I got the brisket sandwich, the pulled pork, and the sliced turkey. Got all 3 of them, so I could try them all out.
Okay.
But I didn't eat. I didn't want to come off like I'm eating 3 sandwiches by myself.
I
That's
see
not a
why
good
you
look.
come in today with I'm healthy, I'm eating sunflower seeds.
Yeah, I'm trying
You
to.
ate
I'm
4
trying to get
sandwiches on your way back from Texas. I see.
trying to get back right. And then I got the cherry maple beef jerky.
Okay.
A little bit.
I'm a big jerky guy. I like jerky, man.
If you're going this summer, if anybody's listening, if you're going, cherry maple is an acquired taste.
I got you. Okay.
The first bite, I was like, man, I wasted some money on this. But the more I got into it, the more it was like, oh, okay, it's kind of sweet, kind of salty. Kind of got some bitterness to it, kind of got some chew to it. So, but it was good. The kids enjoyed it. What about y'all?
We went to Washington, D.C., left had an opportunity to go to, all the monuments, Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, all the museums, did the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, did the Mount Vernon. Had a great time, man. The kids really enjoyed it. My oldest son Reeves has become a huge Baltimore Ravens fan.
Yeah.
And so we were up there. Obviously, Baltimore is like an hour from D.C., so we spent one day going there and went to the aquarium. And my wife had reached out to the Ravens and see if we could do a tour of the stadium. And they said no, we couldn't work it out. Well, kind of last minute, they called or emailed Shelby back. It's like, hey, we can get them in if y'all can be here like 9 o'clock in the morning. They gave us kind of like a personalized tour of the stadium. And
Very cool. All right.
He got to sit like in the locker room. He got to sit like Lamar Jackson's locker.
Man.
And and they gave him a free jersey. So at the end, they gave us a Lamar Jackson jersey. I think he's wore it every day since he's been home.
That's big time.
So he's for some reason a Baltimore Ravens fan, and he
well, they're good.
Yeah.
That's
and so
probably
like,
part of it.
I remember when I was that age, I was big into sports and stuff. So he's coming to me with all like they just signed this person, or well, we lost this person. So he's into the transactions of it. So he's a diehard fan right now. But we had a great time. I enjoy DC, the metro area, and the food and different things. So it's a pretty cool deal. So going to Mount Vernon, seeing where George Washington died, the bed he died in, and all that stuff. And so they're actually about to completely redo it, and it's going to be closed in August for 2 years.
Okay.
So if you want to go see Mount Vernon, you need to go now, or you're going to have to wait till because 2025 they're going to reopen in 2025, which is the 250th year of the signing of, 2026.
Right.
The 250th year of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. They plan to be open by then.
So, speaking about DC and all these, I mean, it's always great to go and take in the country's history or whatever. When we went last year, we went to the place where Lincoln died.
Yes.
Right.
Ford Theater.
Across the street from the Ford Theater.
Yeah.
Right.
Did y'all eat there?
No, we didn't do that.
So this time we saw it, and then we ate at the Hard Rock right there on the corner there. So.
Okay. So, but the place that he died is still standing.
Yes,
right.
It is.
But the stuff that's inside it is not the actual stuff. It's like a recreation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. It's not like the actual bed. So I was a little disappointed with that part of it, because
like the actual bed he laid in. Or whatever.
It's not the actual bed. It's just like a recreation of what it would look like. So it's kind of like it was free. So whatever. Still neat to go see it for sure. There's a lot of cool stuff in DC like that. That day we couldn't go to the Ford Theater that day because they had a show going on or something like that, so we couldn't take that tour. But hopefully we'll get to go back one day
of the
soon.
coolest things we got to do is Shelby found this Museum of Illusions. And it was all these cool different illusions that you could do, some like photo stuff. You take a picture with your camera, it looks like you're standing on each other's shoulders by the way that you're standing in the room and stuff. So I think that the boys really enjoyed that. So
sounds like a great spring break for at least our two families. I know that there was a lot of people I knew that also went to Texas or went to San Antonio or Houston or whatever. And
I saw the Trotters in the airport. They were going to, I think, Walt Disney World.
Oh yeah, they're big Disney people.
Yeah. So and you see on social media pictures, everybody kind of enjoying themselves and getting. The weather was it was nice in DC. I don't know how it was in Texas, but in DC it was nice, man. 70 degrees and not too hot, not too cold.
We had some rain we had to deal with, but yeah, it was ultimately pretty good. Yeah. But it's definitely definitely good to get out with the family from time to time. We had to stop at the one place that our kids really wanted to go to, other than Buc-ee's, was they wanted to try an In-N-Out burger because they'd never tried it before, and there's one right outside Dallas.
That's a big deal, kind of out west, isn't it? The In-N-Out burger.
It is, and but they came away and they said the burgers were 10 out of 10, the fries were like a 2 out of 10.
Oh, see, they're used to like the McDonald's crisp.
Yeah, In-N-Out, if you're listening,
tighten it up.
Find some new potatoes or something.
There you go.
This things taste like cardboard.
There you go.
But so that's all that we've covered. All the food and travel portion of the show. Let's dive into the meeting.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Yeah, so we had our second board meeting of March 19th. We had a meeting. We opened up with the pledge from the Gonzalez girls, Allie and Lori. I went to school with their mother, Andrea. So
I think Lori coached her in soccer back in the day.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
first Allie is in my son's kindergarten class. I think Allie's a first grader.
Okay.
Anyway, so they did a great job. I think they were a little shy at first and got going. So congratulations, they did a good job with that.
Well done.
Other than that, I mean, it was kind of a quick meeting. I think we're out there in about 45 minutes or so. A few things we'll talk about.
We should start setting over-unders.
Yeah.
Let people see how long they think the meeting's going to last.
It's it really depends on really how much, I guess you would say, controversial or
That's right.
issues we need to discuss is there. But a lot of times, it's just handling business, paying the bills, and
I think the other part of it too that people don't realize is, and I was telling, because one of the first things we're going to talk about is the chamber donating some music equipment. Sure. There was basically just like a copy of an email that was in our packet.
Yeah,
that was
that's
basically
right.
all the information that we had on it. So sometimes there's a lot of questions, and people say, "Oh, why are y'all?" Well, because we didn't have all the information to make a decision.
Yeah,
you're having to
having
to investigate it on the fly a little bit sometimes. And then there's sometimes where we might have a big planning decision. We'll talk about one of those later on. We had a planning decision we need to make, and people say, well, there's no questions. And it's like, because we've got a 45-page document that was given to us that we're supposed to go through. And, it kind of answers a lot of the questions that you have. So it really depends on what's in the packet sometimes. I know you do a good job about sharing that with folks. Yeah. So.
Well, I think we're kind of still in the low-tech area. I mean, essentially, I think we've talked about it on here before, Ben, is that, essentially, or not essentially, we get a packet every Friday before the meeting of this 400-page monster sometimes of paper, and we have to try to go through it in a couple days and sometimes make some very difficult decisions with some limited information. That's why sometimes the meetings we ask questions and things like that to try to get a little better understanding of what's going on. So
I think both of us from the get-go, when we were appointed or when we were sworn in, asked about digitizing all this so that we could save some paper, and maybe that'll be on the horizon. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be like a big push from it, except for maybe just a couple of us, but. That'll happen at some point, but you've got the Dropbox deal that you do.
Yeah.
Showing people what's in the packet and whatnot.
So I kind of scan each item and I put it on our Facebook page if somebody wants to take a look at it. That's
a lot of information.
Try to be transparent and try to see what we have when we make decisions, because sometimes we have a lot more information than just as maybe what's being put out, and so. We can understand, but
that being said, let's move on.
Let's get into it. Yeah. So the first thing that we'll discuss is the Hernando Main Street Chamber of Commerce is just like every other government agency, received some ARPA funds and some grant opportunities. And one of the projects they're going to do is put speakers around the square to be able to play music from certain periods of the day. I think he mentioned kind of like a Spotify playlist or whatever, Apple Music playlist. And so essentially he had to get permission from us to use the poles around the county. I mean, around the city, around the square there. So that's kind of, and if you want to go back and check it out, the meeting, he kind of had a diagram where these are going to possibly be. And I think it's a nice deal. My only concern I have is just kind of the upkeep on it. Something we'll have to absorb the cost in a couple of years when the grant funding runs out. But
and it looks like it's going to be, I think they said it's $61,000 paid for the setup and the program and whatnot, and it'll be something they have to look at. The board has to look at down the road. Yeah. But for the first 2 years, it's all taken care of, and I think it'll be a nice addition. Great idea coming from the the chamber board.
Yeah. Mayor Johnson had mentioned, I think, Greenwood, and we had some kind of meeting there or whatever there. And it was nice to have the music play. I think it was around Christmas time, having the Christmas music playing, and it is kind of neat to have in the background.
I think they mentioned Mountain Home, Arkansas.
Okay,
there's another square that's got it. In case you've ever been to that area, it's real pretty area.
I think it's going to be. I think
good ambiance.
I believe you asked a question about maybe using it for like more having the Dickens of a Christmas and maybe kind of directing people where to go. That'd be nice to have. And then I think just having the Christmas music during Christmas time and stuff.
Well, honestly, one of the reasons I asked that question was, if you can have announcements on there, could you have ads that run?
Yeah.
Because it could be, something as
the
city moves forward, can it be a revenue generator to say like, well, we'll run these ads on the speakers on the square during our events or whatever it might be. And maybe that's a revenue generator for the chamber. Maybe it's for the city. I don't know how all that would work. But that was kind of where my thought process was going there. But it should be a nice little addition when it's all said and done. I know Jody Woody presented it with the chamber. And
did she say that? I think Natalie asked her about the timeline. I can't remember what she said. Do you? How quick?
I think I think it's going to be in place later this year.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. So it's a great addition for sure. We appreciate that donation and idea and whatnot. And then we moved on to our community service award of the quarter, Mr. Dean Darnell.
Yeah, I think everybody knows Dean.
If you don't know Dean, you should know Dean. If you listen to this, you'd probably 99% probably know Dean. That the general manager for the Sonic in Hernando.
That's right.
Gives generously to our fire department when they have, when they were putting out the Hampton Inn fire. He made sure everybody was fed and taken care of. On site. That was including other government agencies as well. Not just Hernando,
absolutely.
But, it's just somebody that always steps up big time. He's always very complimentary of, specifically our fire folks, because I think he's
donated ice cream to them. I know the schools a lot. He'll donate ice cream, hamburgers. Just very good guy. So
he's a great, and he, I think a lot of people that when we posted, hey, we're doing this for him and whatnot, and shared the pictures. He's a great guy, but it was comment after comment. People say, "Oh, he's the best boss I ever had."
Yeah,
the first job I ever
had.
That's
best
what
I was
going
to say is that he was always, and a lot of people that's their first job, maybe in a fast food restaurant or whatever at Sonic, and he kind of, I think, continues a relationship with those people onward as they go off in their career. So
it's a hard industry. I mean, people don't. People get frustrated when you have a wait at a restaurant or whatever else. And fast food's supposed to be fast, right?
That's right. Yeah.
People get frustrated with that, but it's a hard industry to work in, and there's always a lot of turnover with those kind of restaurants and whatnot. But he really does an excellent job.
I think very rewarding. Some of the stuff he's done over the 20 plus years. He's I think. I'm not sure how long he's been the manager at the Sonic there, but it's been a while. So,
and he honestly is not the type of person that probably wants this kind of attention or does this stuff to get attention or anything like that.
No, he's just a good guy. So.
Absolutely.
He used to be a big Arkansas fan. I don't know if he still is.
I don't
Arkansas
know.
Razorbacks.
I run into him at the barbershop from time to time, and we talk SEC football and that sort of thing. Yeah. But I hadn't got a strong sense of who he's a fan of. He might.
All right. So the next thing we brought up I think Alderman Miller had really kind of pushed the issue to get a program in place to improve our maintenance of our roads. And basically we're going to sign an agreement with Civil Link they're going to study all the hundreds of square miles of our roads and then develop a kind of a plan of how to approve it over the next, he said, 5 to 10 year plan is what it is, I believe.
Yeah, I think that they want you to come in and have it redone every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
I think the last one was done in 2018, and so it's time to do it again. The question I always have, and there's not a good answer to it. Well, the answer to it is that they can't account for snow, ice, bad weather, weather events that happen over the course of those 3 to 5 years. So we have to really lean on ourselves as a board to say, look, this thing is a lot worse than what this report is saying it is. Things are deteriorating faster than they think it is because of rain or snow or ice or whatever's happened to it. So that's the one thing with this report that I kind of take up issue with, is that it's whoever's in the board and whoever's making these decisions, it can't just necessarily be like, well, here's the data, this is what we need to go by.
Sure. Yeah.
There has to be some amount of local intelligence and knowledge used to to guide the decisions.
Yeah, I think I think maybe the thought behind this is having a system in place to, hey, this is what we need this year and this year and this year to kind of build some funding. But like you mentioned, to have a storm event or ice usually is what does it, can really destroy a road up, and it may need to be bumped up in the list or the rankings or whatever. So, but anyway, we had I think a fair discussion on that. My the only concern is that if we're going to spend the $46,500 is what this is going to cost, that we actually use it and use it efficiently, and it's not just a waste. The one that you referenced from 2018, Ben, I think sat on a shelf and really hasn't been utilized to its fullest potential. Just to be fair, so that's my only concern. Now we did get a confirmation from everyone they were going to use this, and it did have some cool technology. They showed, where you can zoom in and use the software interface to look at different roads and see improvements and things like that over the years. So,
well, just as an example, and you don't want to harp on the past too much, but we used this for our first year in office and setting the paving budget. We used the 2018 report. We haven't used it since then, and the reason why is because diesel prices are astronomically different now compared to 2018. That's something that's not taken into account in the study. And it really, honestly, our first year of paving streets, we didn't get much done because we were using a number that wasn't applicable.
Right, yeah.
Let's just be honest about it. We should have used probably double the amount that what it recommended, and that's what we're doing now. So we are getting kind of caught up a little better, but I do think that there's gonna be some eye-opening things when the report's finalized on what needs to be done.
Yeah, and to be fair to Civil Link, I think they've improved their system since 2018, and what they demonstrated at the meeting I thought was pretty cool, and I'd like to have access to it. And
not being critical of Civil Link at all, because there's just limitations to how much information you have, and how much things change year to year. They certainly couldn't have predicted what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could have predicted that, right? But it's definitely I think it'll be a good tool for us to use in the future. What do we got next?
The next thing is a planning issue there. You want to talk about that? That's your ward there,
sure.
I believe. Green Tea in McIngvale.
Yeah, subdivisions out of the kind of to the side of the field house. If you've been out that way. There's a parking lot there that is a little tight when they have events going on there, specifically our winter basketball league.
Yes.
People kind of have seen that for sure. So if you continue to go, you basically pretend like the middle of that parking lot is a road. It's going to go straight back, and there will be some lots subdivided off of that. I spoke with the folks that are kind of behind developing all that out. I think they've got an ice cream place and a coffee shop kind of place that's going to be built to the left.
Buffalo Wild Wings?
No Buffalo Wild Wings just yet. Maybe one day in the future. There'll no Chick-fil-A as far as I know. I don't know if they'd want to be way back in there. I think they'd want to be able to be seen from the interstate. But but those two businesses potentially going in with kind of excessive parking planned for that area. Seen the drawings for the building, it looks like it's going to be nice.
Yeah. You shared those earlier. That I think it is going to be a nice looking building, and that's more business in Hernando. So
and there will be some crosswalks there. I think they're talking about potentially having some speed bumps in that area to kind of slow some folks down. For the crosswalk access.
Yeah, and we discussed a traffic issue at Green Tea in McIngvale, and there's a plan. The city has a plan in place to look at. It's about a 5 or 6 step plan there. So
at Green Tea and McIngvale specific, so it's kind of separate, but Green Tea and McIngvale specifically, there's another street light that's going to be added to that intersection, and then some landscaping that's going to be kind of cut back on that hill to sort of decrease the blind spots there, and then also the speed limit, completely on McIngvale from that intersection all the way up to Pleasant Hill. The speed limit's going to be dropped to 40 miles an hour to help with some of the issues that intersections have. Yeah. But ultimately, there's going to have to be some kind of traffic signal or something.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a traffic study or whatever. The old where's my thing? Hold on a second, Ben. The old traffic study.
Man, you've been waiting to press that button all day. He loves that button right there. But yeah, it's bureaucratic MDOT stuff that's got to happen. So we'll just have to. We're on their timeline, unfortunately.
Sure.
So just everybody be careful at that intersection. Hopefully there'll be some more signage going up to let people know that it's a dangerous intersection that we got to deal with.
All right, Ben. The last thing I guess we probably discussed on the agenda and at the meeting was the approval of the proposed rules for the Hernando Soccer Complex, Civic Center, and Kirkendall Field Fitness. And so we had got a little, or at least I when I posted the agenda, I had got a little feedback about one of the things about authorized use, and I think Mr. Barkley, Jared, did a great job of explaining that. Do you kind of
if you want to go out to the park and have a game of catch with your kids, or just go out there and use the park as kind of like a free play area, that's certainly encouraged. I think what he was saying is you can't necessarily go out and say, well, our team is going to play this team in an unsanctioned.
You got to have permission for you to go out there and play a league game or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Hey, this is going to be a official deal or whatever it might be, or we're going to try to raise. We're going to have a fundraiser out here and raise some. Right. We'll let's talk about it to make sure some steps are taken. But if you're just out there, hey, taking a little batting practice with your son, yeah, absolutely, go out there.
Yeah, throwing the football or whatever, kicking the soccer ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So any kind of organized event, I guess, is a better way to put it.
And then there are certain times of the year when they're going to be seeding and things like that, and you're going to have to need to stay off the fields, especially the soccer field. So I think that was the other
and there's been some dirt work and things that have been going on. Taking the lips out of the of some of those baseball fields and stuff, and people got to be aware that.
Yeah. Well, soon there's going to be some construction at the baseball fields, and there have some lights installed at the soccer field. So
the parking lot lighting I think got delivered this week.
Yeah, we played last night, and I saw the poles sitting over there. So
those will hopefully be going in soon, so people can feel a little safer out in the parking lot potentially, and have a little bit more well lit out there.
Sure. Well, he listed those rules. They're on our Facebook page if you want to check them out. And really, Ben, that's as far as the meeting. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, I think I guess the mayor and his wife were celebrating their anniversary.
Yes, I think 2 years.
So
was it 2 years they've been?
Or 3? Is it 3?
2 or 3? 2 or 3. Yeah.
But I think he was ready to have a little date night. So he was ready to get out the door, and I don't blame. I don't blame you either. That only comes around once a year. So you want to
Ole Miss and Southern Miss were playing baseball, so I didn't mind getting home a little early to watch that. So
the Rebels beat up on the Mustard Buzzards, and we.
The Mustard Buzzards, huh?
Hey, Lindsay went to grad school at Southern Miss. I like to. The Southern Miss people it's easy to give them a hard time sometimes, but there's lots of good people down there. They care about. I'll tell you, in South Mississippi, they care. It's like breathing, eating, and then baseball.
That's right.
That's like the order. And for some of them people, baseball may be higher than the other two.
Their baseball team's usually pretty competitive.
They're very, very, very consistent. Pine Belt definitely produces some good.
Shelby's
good ball
wife's,
players.
Mother went to school with the coach, the long-term coach. They went to high school together.
Okay.
The one that just recently retired.
So
They went to high school together. So.
Oh, how about that? Okay.
Mississippi's just a big, small town.
It is, absolutely. You live here long enough, you're eventually going to know everybody.
That's right.
But, Chad, I guess that's it.
We'll have a little shorter show. We're coming up on about 30 minutes. So, Ben, you got anything you want to add?
No. If y'all
do anything this weekend?
We got the show. We got some soccer. Parents coming in from Montana and visiting. Hernando, and I asked them, "Was there anything you want to do while you're here?" And they said they wanted to get some good barbecue, and
there you go.
And that they wanted to go to the parish. So if any of the folks at the parish are listening, my dad is looking forward to some oysters. So he's excited about getting down here and having some Gulf oysters, because I guess the ones they got up there are not quite.
Well, I had some in Maryland. They were pretty good.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah,
that's a good spot for them. So we got that going on, and looking forward to a good weekend. Appreciate all y'all listening to the Boardroom Podcast. We'll get with you next time, but for now, I'm Ward 6 Alderman Ben Piper.
I'm Ward 4 Alderman Chad Wicker.
Y'all have a great one.